sayings is that nature is messy. I think when I see things in nature, particularly if they look like they should not be that way, I know I'll ask why. And what could possibly be causing this? And how could you identify that for sure? My name is Kellie Dixon, and I'm a senior scientist here at Mote Marine Laboratory. And I've been working here since 1978 when I came to Sarasota. I was born in Rome, Georgia. The grandparents all lived in Georgia, but my dad was in the Navy, so every year or so we would move for my dad's job because he was a fighter pilot in the Navy. And so I don't really have any good friends that I went to kindergarten with, but have lived in an awful lot of places. I was encouraged to do as much as I could, and if I didn't get good grades, I heard about it. But I was encouraged to do whatever I was good at, and to go out there and be proud of what you're doing. And then in the schools that I had, I think because of that family backing, I didn't have any problem opening my mouth and asking questions and just learning. I was going to be a vet. All during high school, I was riding, and I wanted to be a large animal vet for horses and cows. I was going to graduate, from college and then go to veterinary school. But my first husband was from Sarasota, and we met in college, and then came back to Sarasota. And so that's when I started volunteering here at the lab, and just really fell into it. It was not by plan. I certainly wouldn't recommend it as a life, an approach to organizing your life, but for me it turned out. The man that I was volunteering for left to take another job, and I ended up taking his job. At that time we were based at Midnight Pass, down on the south end of Siesta Key, and the old lab was really a charming building, and it was a very different atmosphere from the way it is today. It was certainly a lot sleepier than it is now. I would say that not only the science scene, but the art scene and everything else was much smaller. On Longboat Key, for instance, coming from the south end of the key, we would go over the bridge, and then it was several miles up the key before you got to the Colony Beach Club, and that was really the first structure that you could see from the Gulf of Mexico Drive. And there was a place that we could noodle through the trees and get to the beach there, and so that's why we drove out there. But other than the Colony, there was very little out on Longboat. I worked as either a technician and then a staff chemist for years. I started writing proposals to local agencies here, and was also providing water chemistry services to other groups at the lab. And then in '99, I hadn't even really considered this as a possibility, but one of our board members, Myra Monfort, said, well, does she want to go back to school? I'll help her go back to school. And so she was instrumental and supported me to go back and get my doctorate. And I did become a senior scientist here at the lab. And so now I'm a program manager that I have been for some time. I was a program manager of the Chemical and Physical Ecology group, which is there are 6 or 7 of us, and we work in water quality and look at physical and nutrient-related types of analyses.
In the 70s, sewage treatment plants were discharging very minimally treated wastes into Tampa Bay. And as a result, lots and lots of seagrass had just gone away. In the mid-90s, we designed a project where we were able to determine that seagrasses, where they stopped at their deepest extent, they got between 20 and 25% of the light that hit the surface of the water on average. And so that number has been used to make decisions about controlling nitrogen going into Tampa Bay. That same number has been used to try and help restore seagrasses in Charlotte Harbor. The whole Charlotte Harbor National Estuary program down there, which includes the Caloosahatchee all the way up to Lemon Bay. And also we've used that same number in Sarasota Bay. And so it was one project that we did for a little over a year, and yet the information that we generated has been used in an applied sense very directly in our area. So it really had a big impact, and it's probably one of the projects that I was the most proud of.
Most of the memorable things are the field work, where just when you get a lot of people and a lot of boats and weather or darkness and stuff happens. This is not a job for 40 hours a week. You know, you can't walk away from it because there's always more to do than you can really do in a 40-hour week. When you have anywhere from 6 to 12 people who are depending on you getting proposals to keep them working, you got to suck it up. And I've spent many a Saturday and Sunday writing proposals or reports or data analyses or things like that. So that's just part of the job. It doesn't really it doesn't really quit. But that's why it's good that it's interesting. You know, if it was just stuffing envelopes, then, you know, none of us would still be doing it.